I stopped avoiding having difficult conversations with my wife. But I couldn't do it and struggled for many years. It is my Buddhist practice that made me no longer try to avoid and escape from facing a difficult reality of my life. So this video demonstrates how a process of not avoiding such difficult moment would look like in my everyday conversation with my wife. So here's my story. So last night at the New Year's Eve, I asked my wife how her 2022 was. That question unexpectedly turned into a very difficult conversation. But, I didn't avoid it. I listened to her. But at the end of the conversation, she said to me, I didn't feel you listened to me very well. I was shocked. I couldn't believe what I heard. But that was the end of the conversation. So for me, the most difficult part of that conversation was to see that the kind of two facts, a gap between two facts. One fact is that I thought I listened to her so well. But the other fact, other reality is that from her standpoint, I did not listen to her very well. It was so hard to accept this gap because accepting that would make me feel miserable and I'm like a useless and dumb. Now it's 2023, it's been 10 years since we married, we have 2 kids, 6 years and 3 years old, and we both have full-time job, and my work is to finish my writing dissertation for my PhD program in the philosophy of religion. Unexpectedly, writing my dissertation and working on my PhD is really hard, more than I expected. But I have a tremendous support from my school and my advisor, and it's been wonderful. But she understands that difficulty, and out of her kindness and consideration, she often does a lot of housework on my behalf. Because of that, she sometimes feels exhausted. So for instance, it's been more than a week since our kids' winter break had started. So we are busy with amusing our kids, or otherwise they go grumpy and fight against each other in the house. But what we want in the house is peace. So my wife, out of consideration, reaches out to other mom friends who are in a similar situations and makes a bunch of appointments for a play date while I stayed at home to work on my dissertation. And yesterday was like that too. While she was away with our kids, I recognized that our kitchen and dining space was a little bit messy, and I thought of cleaning that before she gets home. But after they left home, I just kept writing my dissertation, to be honest, and I didn't think much about cleaning the kitchen. Oh my gosh, as I said this, I feel terrible about this. Kept saying to myself, okay, I gotta clean my kitchen. Okay, but I gotta do my dissertation. Again, I feel terrible. In the end, I didn't clean the kitchen and dining space, even though it would probably have taken only 5-7 minutes or something like that. So after she came home, she didn't complain, but eventually she brought it up, and that conversation really turned into a difficult time. As we conversed, I learned that my kind of neglect behaviors makes her feel that she is like a lonely in terms of doing housework. So she had a sense of sort of separateness or non-oneness between us. Hearing that was already so difficult because I want her to be happy, and failing to see that makes me feel that I'm failing to help her feel happiness. So then I had a 2 choice, right? One is to keep listening. The other is to cut her off and defend myself. So I asked myself, will I avoid hearing her feelings because I want to avoid my emotional pain? I said no to this question and stayed in the conversation, although it was not easy to hear. If I gave her advice while she was speaking or cut her off before she ends what she was sharing with me, that would be the expression of my weakness, because that way I would be avoiding the reality that I needed to face, needed to hear. So I was glad that I didn't do any of this kind of interventions. So instead, I did my best to listen to her feelings. I just didn't passively listen to her by only nodding my head, but sometimes ask questions to clarify her feelings. So as I listened to her first, I was sort of feeling accused. But as I listened, effortlessly I became empathetic and listened to her without difficulty. So that was an interesting process. So in the end, I did not feel an urge to defend my position or express my excuses. I did not avoid hearing what she has to express. So I was pretty proud of myself. In that respect, I thought I was a good husband in that moment. But, oh man, the reality is not that easy. So as I said in the beginning, in the end of the conversation, I thought she liked the way I listened to her, but instead she said to me, "I didn't feel you listened to me very well." I could not believe what I heard. Hearing that was so difficult and shocking for me. But this proves that I need to grow and improve my listening ability and skills. So in that sense, her honesty helped me avoid falling into the pitfall of complacency. Yes, that was difficult, but I needed to hear that and accept it. Again, the point of this video is not about the result of the conversation, but the fact that I did not avoid the difficult conversation that I needed to have with my wife. And this is how a part of my difficult conversation with my wife looks like in my reality. So let me hear your experience of difficult conversations or situations with your partner or someone who's important in your life. And what is the most challenging part in that communication? Let me know in comments by all means. I will give you an update about my current situation very soon, and I will make more videos about my normal Buddhist philosophy of the Lotus Sutra vis-a-vis my everyday life struggles like this. So please stay tuned for these videos and updates. Thank you for checking out. I'll see you soon.